Okay, so good afternoon, all of you. Welcome to this lecture of refrigeration air conditioning. So I see the attendance is low today. Obviously, there is a notice from Kashis sir about project synopsis, and some people think that in one day they will create a synopsis out of nowhere. So good luck to them. Okay, but those who are in contact with your guide regularly, uh, you need not to worry. You contact your guide today again and get your details. So you will get also format of synopsis. So you will also get a copy of like previous year students, and following that format, you can create your synopsis. Okay. So not a big deal, but you should discuss the points with your guide, and if you sit to for creating the synopsis within a 2 to 3 hours, you can complete it. Okay. And regarding PPT and PPT, keep it very simple. Like you can keep maximum 6 points. So there is a rule for 6 by 6. So you can keep maximum 6 points in a slide, and it should not be paragraphs, right? So if you're preparing slides, you should maximum you can go for a single line, and more you give emphasis on adding images and tables. They create a more good impression, and don't add paragraphs. Just copy somewhere and paste it there. Will not help you. So create a very attractive PPT, and good presentation will win you all the marks. Okay. So considering the attendance today, what we'll do, I will solve one example numerical, and then we'll see. Right. So in last lecture, we have seen the heat load calculation procedure. So how it was? So first we have to decide the design conditions. Design conditions means we have to know the outdoor conditions, and then we have to decide what temperature and humidity we are going to maintain inside the room. Second was ventilation requirement. So there are minimum ventilation, or we can say fresh air requirements within a space. So this is decided by ASHRAE. So there is a standard ASHRAE 62.1, which decide that how much minimum fresh air is required per person, also per square feet. Then there were some important terms: room sensible heat load. So it comprises of external loads like solar heat gain, some internal loads like heat loss by people, and heat gain by lighting equipments. Then we have seen effective sensible heat. Effective sensible heat is a room sensible heat plus sensible heat by bypass air. Then we had a grand sensible heat. So grand sensible heat is effective sensible heat plus sensible load on cooling coil. Then we have seen similarly room latent heat, effective latent heat, and grand latent heat. Then finally we have seen two major factors: RSHF, room sensible heat factor, and which is a ratio of room sensible heat to room total heat. And we have seen a grand sensible heat factor, GSHF, which is a ratio of grand sensible heat divided by grand total heat. Okay, so first we have a room sensible heat. If I add sensible heat by bypass here, that would become effective sensible heat. If I add load on cooling coil, so that will become grand sensible heat. Okay, then we have seen this how to draw RSHF and GSHF line. So this diagram is for RSHF line. So you can calculate RSHF from this formula. So there is a RSHF scale here on psychrometric chart. There you have to locate the point, that RSHF factor. Then you have to join that point with the alignment circle. This alignment circle will be given readily in the psychrometric chart. So you will get this line. Now parallel to this line, you have to draw a line through a room point. So this is a room condition point, and extend that line up to saturation curve. Okay. So this is our RSHF line. So this will be your RSHF line. The next was GSHF line. So we have seen previously how to draw RSHF line. So R to R. So this R to R, this R to R, here it is a RSHF line. Then you have to divide that line considering the bypass factor. You will get a point S, and when you join point S with the mixing point, so this is a outdoor condition point, this is a room condition point, and we have seen the adiabatic mixing. When these two streams mix together, there is adiabatic mixing, assume, and we'll get a mixing point that is a M. So we have to join that mixing point with this intersection point S, and if I extend that line up to saturation curve, I will get point S dash. Now point S dash is coil ADP. So in some examples, this coil ADP will be directly given to you, and in practical examples also, coil ADP is known because these manufacturers are of cooling coil, they give you readily coil ADP. Room ADP is the factor which changes. So room ADP, that point R dash, that value changes depending on the condition, right? So in numericals, we'll face such diagrams. So this is a AHU, air handling unit. So in this, fresh air comes, then comes the return air. So generally that ratio falls like 40% of fresh air and 60% of return air, and there is a AHU mixing takes place and we have a supply air. Okay, so these examples will be there. There is a mixing, then there is a cooling, then there will be a room involved. Okay, and this was our ultimate goal. Ultimate goal is to calculate the supply air. So supply air, in technical terms, it is written as dehumidify air, because in this process, what we are doing, we are cooling the air as well as we are removing the moisture. So this diagram I have showed in last lecture. The air is passing over a cooling coil. There is condensation of droplets take place. These droplets are collected in a tray. So this is a tray, and this water is drained out. So this process is cooling and dehumidification. So dehumidify air quantity is calculated by this formula: effective sensible heat divided by 1.08 minus into 1 minus bypass factor into room dry bulb temperature minus apparatus dew point. Now this 1.08, this is like some constants are clubbed together. So there is a specific heat of air, and it is multiplied by its specific volume. So that way you'll get this value 1.68 for sensible heat. If you are going for latent heat, there is a factor of 0.68, right? So this is about, and then we have seen a diversity factor. So like when I am designing a system, I am assuming that it is at its peak condition. So if I'm designing a cooling system, I'm assuming that temperature is all the time 44 degrees Celsius or 45 degrees Celsius. But this is not practical, right? So once in a day, that temperature will reach to 45 degrees Celsius. Other days, it will be less than the 45. So then we have to assume a diversity factor, which will give you realistic values. Okay. So coming to our numerical today. So I will read it. Okay. So an air conditioner hall is to be maintained at 27 degrees Celsius dry bulb temperature and 21 degrees Celsius wet bulb temperature. Now read the sentence. It is said that air conditioner hall is to be maintained at 27 degrees Celsius DBT and 21 degrees Celsius WBT. So this is given here your room conditions. The next, it has a sensible heat load of 46.5 kilowatt and latent heat load of 175 kilowatt. Okay. So this is the sensible heat load and latent heat load. The air supplied from outside atmosphere is at 38 degrees Celsius DBT and 27 degrees Celsius WBT. So this is your outside air. This was your room condition. This is your outside condition. Is 25 meter cube per minute directly into the room through ventilation and infiltration. So I said you that what is infiltration. So even if I close all the doors, all the windows of a room, there remains a gap in somewhere in walls or between windows and walls. So between that gap, air enters into the room. So that air carries some heat load. So that is nothing but infiltration. So we have this infiltration load. Outside air to be conditioned is passed through cooling coil whose apparatus dew point is 15 degrees Celsius. So in this case, apparatus dew point is directly given to you. The quantity of recirculated air from the hall is 60%. So see, I have showed you that there will be some percentage. So there will be like 40% fresh air and there will be 60% return air. This quantity is mixed with the conditioned air after the cooling coil. Determine condition of air after the coil and before the recirculated air mixes with it. Okay. Condition of air entering the hall. Okay. After mixing with recirculated air. So see here what is happening. First that fresh air is being cooled. Then it mixes with the return air. Okay. So there are some examples where they mix together first and then that mixture is cooled. But in this example, fresh air is cooled, then it is mixed with the return air. So all the heat load inside the room will be carried out by the fresh air. Mass of fresh air entering the cooler, bypass factor of cooling coil, and fifth is refrigerating load on the cooling coil. Okay. So first of all, I will write down what is the given data here. In this case, room condition is given. Okay, so first of all, I will draw a schematic of this. So what is happening here, we'll see. So we have a fresh air coming. This fresh air, its temperature is given 38 degrees Celsius dBT. Then its WBT is given, that is 27 degrees Celsius WBT. Okay, this is cooled first. Okay, before mixing, it is cooled. So we have a cooler or cooling coil. There is a cooling coil like this. Its apparatus dew point is given, ADP is given, that is 15 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now this coil is being, sorry, this air is being cooled. Then it goes to mixing chamber. So this is your mixing chamber. So there comes the return air. Return air. So this is 60% and fresh air is 40%. Okay. So mixing takes place here. Then we have a supply air. Okay, so we have a supply air, and this supply air is passed to a hall. So there is a condition hall which is to be maintained at room condition is 27 degrees Celsius dBT, and we have 21 degrees Celsius WBT. Okay, so outside condition is given, coiled ADP is given, mixing percentage is given, then supply air is passed to hall. This room condition is to be maintained. Okay. So see here, I'll give some numbers today. So let us assume this is a 0.1, and after cooling it goes to 0.2. Then after mixing it goes to 0.3. Let us say this room condition is at 0.4. Okay, so return air also will be 0.4 condition. So room condition here, see that we have to maintain dry bulb temperature TD4 as 27 degrees Celsius. Then TW4 21 degrees Celsius. Then outside air, here TD1, that is outside air's dry bulb temperature. TD1 is given 38 degrees Celsius. Then TW1 is given 27 degrees Celsius. Okay, so room air, outside air, these conditions are known to us. Then what else is given here? They have given coil ADP, which is 15 degrees Celsius. Then fresh air to return air, that is 60%. Okay, so 60% means that will be what, 60 divided by 100, so that will be 3:5, right? 3:5. Okay, how did I calculate this? 3:5. The mixing 60% is return air, so just you can do like 60 divided by 100. So this will give you 60:5. Okay, total is 5. Out of that is return air is 5. Anyway, we'll not use this. Let us assume that fresh air is 40% and return air is 60%. So like this will give me 2:3. Sorry, it will not be 3:5. It will be 2:3. Okay, 2:3. Right. So what I will do now, I will plot these 2 points on psychrometric chart, and then we'll see other processes. Okay, so I will plot the points here, and first point I will plot here is outdoor air temperature. Okay, so outdoor air temperature here it is given as 38 degrees Celsius dBT. So here I have 30. So here I have 35. So here I have 38. So this would be my 38 point. I have to go in vertical direction. Okay, and then I have to look for this inclined dotted line like this. Then 38 degrees Celsius and 27 degrees Celsius WBT. So I have to stop where I see a 27 degrees Celsius dotted line. So see here we have a 20, then there will be 21, then we have 25 here, then this will be your 27 line. So this dotted line will be your 27 degrees Celsius WBT. Okay, and here it is 38 degrees Celsius. So I hope this point is correct. Yes, so this point is correct. So this will be my point of 38 degrees Celsius dBT and 27 degrees Celsius WBT. Then I have to look for the room condition. Room condition is 27 degrees Celsius dBT. So see here, this is 30, 29, 28, 27. This will be 27 dBT, dry bulb temperature. I have to go in vertical direction. Then I have to stop where I will meet 21 degrees Celsius wet bulb temperature line. So this is 21, and this will be 21 dotted line for wet bulb temperature. Okay, so I guess this will be the point. 27 degrees Celsius and 21 dBT. Okay. Okay, now I will join this point. Right. Now here the thing is, this return air or the fresh air is first cooled. Okay, then I have to locate for the cooling coil or a coil's apparatus dew point. So apparatus dew point here it is given as 15 degrees Celsius, right? Okay, so I have to locate for the 15 degrees Celsius. So this will be your 15 degrees Celsius. Then I have to join the outdoor air temperature. So I will write here also. So this will be your what outdoor air, and this will be what your return air, right? And this is your 0.5. So this will be your ADP, apparatus dew point. So 15 is your apparatus dew point. Fresh air will first pass through the cooling coil. So that is why we have to join the outdoor air with the apparatus dew point. So I will join that point. So there will be another line up to apparatus dew point. Okay. Just I will reduce its size because it is looking very big. Okay. So this will be my line here. Now here what I have to do, I have to consider the bypass factor. But in this case, bypass factor is not given to us. So I will write one by one. Okay, so we have plotted these 2 points there. Also, we have plotted the apparatus dew point. Now I will start solving the example. Please see carefully. If you follow the procedure, it is not very big deal here. Okay, so first I will show the psychrometric chart. So that will clear your idea what is happening here actually. Okay, so this is your psychrometric diagram. This is a dry bulb temperature, this is specific humidity, and this is of course 100% RH curve. Okay, so we have a point 1 here. Okay, then what we have here, point 2, point 1, which is called as outdoor air temperature. This is a room condition. Then somewhere we had that apparatus dew point. So this is a ADP. Now what I have done, I have joined these two lines. Okay, so somewhere on this line there will be our mixing point. I also joined the apparatus dew point with the outdoor air temperature. Now here first thing is to calculate the total room sensible heat, right? So here what they have given in this example is it has a sensible heat load of 46.5 kilowatt. This is a given sensible heat load, plus we have to consider the load by infiltrate air. So infiltration air is unwanted air. We do not want that air into the room, but because of some cracks in the structure, that air enters inside the room. So that is also they have given. So this is a infiltration air's quantity 25 meter cube per minute. So I will consider that. Okay. So see here, room sensible heat. This will be equal to, so what is given there, 46.5 plus sensible heat of infiltrated air. Okay. Now how to calculate this sensible heat by infiltrated air? Let us say this is a QI. Okay. So QI will be your infiltrated air's sensible heat. So QI will be equal to its mass flow rate into the enthalpy difference. Okay. Now see here, when that infiltrated air enters inside the room, we have to consider only sensible heat. Okay. So in this case, what is happening? So we have to consider the sensible heat. So there we have to draw a triangle. So this is some hypothesis triangle. So in this case, all this vertical, this will be your latent heat, and this horizontal will be your sensible heat, right? So outside air, here we have considered that as 0.1, and return air, room air, we have to consider that point as a 4. So this is 1, this is 4. Apparatus dew point, we have considered here it as a 0.2. Okay. Okay. So this is 0.1, 0.4, and here let us assume this hypothetical point is point A. So here we have to consider only is sensible heat. So this part only we have to consider sensible heat. So infiltrated air sensible heat will be equal to its mass flow rate into difference in sensible heat. So this we have to take HA minus H4. Now how to calculate HA and H4? So there we have some enthalpy scale. There we have to see what is the value of H4, then we have to see what is the value of HA, then we have to see what is the value of H1. So this will be H1, this will be HA, and this will be H4. Okay. So I will go back to the psychrometric chart. I will look for these values. So from psychrometric chart, so first find out the H4. What is H4 there? Okay, so we have to find out the enthalpy at a room point. So again, I have to follow this line point up to the enthalpy scale. So better way I will show with the help of a diagram. So this is my point here. Okay, so what I will do, I will follow this point up to the enthalpy scale, and I will see where this point meets. Okay, so here I can see this line meets the enthalpy scale here. So you can see here the value is 60, then there will be 61, then there will be 62. So my enthalpy at point R will be 61. So H4 will be 61 kilojoule per kg Kelvin, not the kg, so only Kelvin. Then let us find out the value of HA. So here, so this will be point. Okay. And this will be our triangle. So here will be our point A. Okay. So I have to find out the now enthalpy of point A. Similarly, I will follow this line up to the enthalpy scale. So this will go like this, and it will reach somewhere here. Okay. So as you can see here it is a 70, then this will be 72, this will be 73. So enthalpy at point A, that will be 73. Okay. Similarly, let us find out the enthalpy of H1. So this unit will be kilojoule per kg. Let us find out the enthalpy at H1. So for that, I have to follow the point O. So this will be H1, and I have to follow up to enthalpy scale, right? So I will reach up to here. So this is 80, as you can see, 82, 84, 85. So 85 will be my enthalpy at point 1. So 85 kilojoule per kg. Okay. So this way I have derived the enthalpy values. Now I have to find out the mass flow rate. So mass flow rate, for that they have given the volume flow rate of infiltrated air, that is given as 25 meter cube per minute. Then I have to find out the specific volume. So for that I have to know the specific volume at point 1. Okay. So see here, this is my point 1 and I have to find out the specific volume. So we have to follow this inclined lines. So here, as you can see, if you don't see, I will zoom in the screen little bit so that you will see. So see here, as you can see, the 0.9 here is the specific volume and my point is here. So this is 0.9, this is a 0.91. So somewhere in between 0.9 and 0.91, my point lies. So I'll say this value here is 0.9 1, or we can take 0.9. Let us say 0.905 will take 0.905. So 0.905 meter cube per kg will be specific volume. Then we can easily find out the mass flow rate of inflated air. So that will be V1 divided by specific volume V1. So 25 divided by 0.905. That will be your mass flow rate. So that will be, let us say this is a meter cube per minute. This is meter cube per kg. So whatever unit we will get, that will be kg per minute. Okay. So calculate 25 divided by 0.905. Calculate also in kilojoule per second. Okay. Okay, leave it. So Pradyumna has calculated. I will take that value. That is a 27.62. So anyway, how to calculate infiltrated air's load? So Qi will be equal to 27.62. Let us convert it into seconds. So divided by 60 into HA we have calculated as 73 minus H4 we have calculated as 61. So calculate this load and then calculate RSH also. So RSH will be equal to 46.5 plus this load. What value you will get? Okay. So this you can get in like kilowatt. So calculate the QI and then calculate the RSH, room sensible heat. So calculate the QI value as well as the room sensible heat. So others also please calculate. Vasnik, Tadmare, do your own calculations. Please get it understand here only, because if you go and open the book and start reading these examples, you will get maximum chances are you will get confused. You will not realize where the air is coming, where it is going, how it is getting mixed. Okay. So whatever points are there, you get it understood here only. And afterwards, if you understand this, afterwards you can open the book, you can solve the numericals. Okay, so RSH, yes, Pradyumna has calculated. Big thank you to Pradyumna. So that is a 52.02 kilowatt. Okay. Right. So this way we have calculated the RSH. Next step is to calculate RLH, room latent heat. So second will be room latent heat. The same process here also follows. So RLH will be equal to some values they have given already in the example. So see here they have given the value 175 kilowatt. So I will take that. Let me confirm it is 175 or 17.5. So it is a 17.5. 17.5 plus latent load of infiltrated air. Latent load of infiltrated air. So again, let us assume this as a QLI. Okay, so QLI will be again equal to mass flow rate into latent heat. So here in previous step, what we have done, we have taken the sensible heat. So that is why we have taken the difference between HA and H4. Okay. Now we are interested in latent heat. So we'll take difference between HA and H1. So vertical part, that is your latent heat. So here it will be mass flow rate into H1 minus HA. Mass flow rate we have already calculated. That is our 27.62. So let us divide it by 60 into H1 we have calculated. Here H1 we have calculated as 85. So 85 minus HA we have calculated as 73. 73. So calculate this way you'll get a QLI, that is a latent heat of infiltrated air. Then easily you can calculate the RLH. RLH will be equal to 17.5 plus this value, will get a RLH in kilowatt. Okay, any answers? So I'll take Vardhana's answer. So that is RLH is given as 23. He has calculated as 23.02 kilowatt. Okay. 23.02. Right. Okay. Next step is to calculate the RSHF. So RSHF is room sensible heat factor will be equal to room sensible heat divided by room total heat. So this will be equal to RSH. How much we have calculated? 52.02. So 52.02. Total heat will be addition of sensible heat and latent heat. So this will be 52.02 plus 23.02. So calculate the RSHF. So what is the value here? 0.69. Okay, 0.69. Okay, so why we are calculating the RSHF? See, here in this case, bypass factor is not given. If bypass factor would have given, we already would have solved this example way back. But bypass factor is not given. That is why we have to go another way. That is the RSHF way. Now, next step is to locate this RSHF on psychrometric chart. So see here, this is the RSHF scale on the right side. You can see it's starting with the 1 here, then it is a 0.95, 0.9, 0.85, 0.8, 0.75, 0.70, 0.65. So Pradyumna has calculated 0.69, which is very close to the 0.7. This is our first point. Now next point is to locate the alignment circle. So see here, here is your alignment circle, as you can see. So we have to draw this line which will connect these 2 points. So I have to locate 0.69 here, and I will locate up to alignment circle. So this is my alignment circle, and this is the reference line. So this is only reference line. We have to draw a line parallel to this line. Okay. Now what I will do, I will copy paste here only. Okay. So next thing is to draw a parallel line to this reference line through point R. So this is our point R here, and I will draw a parallel line. So for this a roller is required, but I don't have a roller now. Obviously I cannot use roller on this platform. So I will try to draw by visualizing it is a parallel to it. I hope this is a parallel. Yep. So this one looks like it is a parallel. Okay, so let me check. Okay, so by some, I will assume that this is a parallel, right? Okay, moving on. So what we have done here, firstly I have calculated this reference line which passes through 0.69 on RSHF scale and alignment circle. This is our reference line. Parallel to this line, I have to draw on a line through point R. So this will be my RSHF line. Okay, so I will write here. So this is my dash. Right. So I have ADP, that is the coil ADP. R dash is room ADP. Okay. Right. So this my point intersection point will be our supply air point. So I will write here as, so this will be our supply air point. So we have points here, outdoor air point, that is O, R is your room point, and S is your supply air point, right? So this way we have drawn a psychrometric or we have shown the processes on a psychrometric chart. Now let us find out what they asked here. So going back to our example here, first they asked is condition of air after the coil and before the recirculate air mixes with it. So we'll get it from the diagram. Okay, so point S is here the condition of air when it leaves the cooling coil. So when the air passes over a cooling coil, so outside air, this was the O. When it passes through a coil whose ADP was given, that is 15 degrees Celsius, and its leaving condition will be S. Now, as you can see here, its dry bulb temperature of point S. If you see the diagram, it is coming down here. This is 20. This is one digit less than 20. That is 19 degrees Celsius dry bulb temperature. And if you see the wet bulb temperature, so this will be like what, 15, 16, 17. So between 16 and 17, 17 and 80, so that will be 17.5. Okay. So condition of air or condition of fresh air leaving cooling coil. So that is like at point 2 or point S, let's say point 2 or like point S, whatever point you take. Point 2 from cyclomatic chart, the dry bulb temperature is 19 degrees Celsius and wet bulb temperature is like what, 17.5 degree Celsius. Okay, so this is our first answer. We have calculated the condition of air leaving the cooling coil. Okay, so in our problem, this was the fresh air which was entering, and after coming in contact with cooling coil, here we have calculated its condition. So at point 2, we have a 19 degrees Celsius dry bulb temperature and 17.1 degrees Celsius wet bulb temperature at point 2. Next thing, we have to calculate condition of air entering the hall. That means we have to find out the condition at point 3. Okay. So before that, we have to show the mixing process here. Okay. So we have obtained some values here, and this was the way. Here we have obtained the supply air point. Now this is the supply air, and this is the room condition. Now see here, there is a mixing here. Okay, so this is the condition of air. So this is the air after cooling coil, and this is a room condition. Okay, so we have air which is coming after the cooling coil, then we have a recirculate air from the room, and somewhere there mixing takes place. So that mixing is given 60% of return air and 40% of supply air. Okay, so this SR line, okay, so this SR line, this we have to divide by considering 60-40 ratio, right? So return air is 60%. So there is a one trick is involved here. So if you want to divide this line, always remember, if room percentage of room is given, that is 60%, that will be on the opposite side of it. So this is a point R given here. So 60% will be on the S side. If it was given of supply air, that will be on the side of return air. I will show how. So what I am meaning here. So once again, I will draw the diagram, psychrometric diagram here. So this is a psychrometric diagram, and we have located some processes here. So this was a point 1, that is outdoor. Point 2, that is a room temperature. Then ADP was given. So I have joined that ADP with the outdoor air. Then somewhere I have calculated the RSHF. Okay. So this was my RSHF I have calculated. There was this alignment circle was given. I have joined this alignment circle with this point. Parallel to this line, I have drawn a line like this. So this is 0.4 actually. Then I have received one intersection point. This intersection point is your supply air point, 0.2. Let us assume this is 0.5. Okay. Now after air coming out of cooling coil, there is a mixing with return air. So this is a room point, that is 0.4. There is a 0.2. Then we have a line 4.2. Okay, so this is a room, see return air, and this is your fresh air, cooled fresh air. So mixing takes place. Now what they have given, room air is 60% and 40% is fresh air. Now, while showing on the psychrometric diagram, this 60% I have to show on opposite side, and this 40% I have to show on this opposite side. Okay. How to do that? I will show. So let us divide this into 5 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the 5 equal parts. Now if I want 60% of it, that means I have to take only these 3 parts. So this will be 60% of 5, and this will be 40%. Okay. So when I say written air is 60%, I have to show on opposite side here, and this will be 3 digits. Okay, so 3 digits. So I have to divide this line in 5 equal parts, and the 3 digits or the 3 divisions on the opposite side of room air, that will be its share. Okay, so that will also I will show here. So somewhere on this line I will get a supply air point. So let us say here somewhere I will get a point S, and this is my point of mixing. Let us say point M. Okay. So I hope I have cleared how to divide this line. So we are now mixing the point. So we have solved the problem for cooling coil. Now we are at the mixing junction. So I have to determine what will the mixing take place. Here we have to determine the condition of air entering the hall. So I have plotted a point here on this diagram, that is a point A. For that condition, I have to give the dry bulb temperature as well as wet bulb temperature. So let us denote this point as 3. So on this point here, I will get a 0.3, that is a mixing point. So somewhere here, I will get a 0.3. Okay. Now from psychrometric chart, if I see the conditions here, it is 24 degrees Celsius. And wet bulb temperature here it is given as 19.8 degrees Celsius. Okay. So my third answer will be like TD3, or I will write down condition of air or condition of supply air. Here TD3 from psychrometric chart is 24 degrees Celsius and TW3 is 19.8 degree Celsius. Okay. So right now it is not possible for me to locate that point exactly on this Paint app, but I have showed how to locate that point, right? So point M, that condition is also known. Now what else is asked here? So mass of fresh air entering the cooler, that is remaining, bypass factor of the cooling coil. So this is very easy to calculate, bypass factor. So bypass factor of cooling coil. So bypass factor BPF will be equal to TD2. So TD2 is the temperature of air leaving the coil minus coil's ADP divided by temperature of air entering the coil, that is TD1 minus apparatus dew point. So TD2 we have calculated it as a 19, apparatus dew point is given as 15, then apparatus entering air temperature that we already know, that is 38 minus 15. So calculate the bypass factor. So those who do not understand the bypass factor concept, I'll repeat once again. So see here, I have a cooling coil. Okay, so air is entering, it will come in contact with cooling coil, it will get cooled. Okay, air is leaving. So entering air temperature, in our case, it is TD1. Coil temperature is given, that is ADP, and leaving coil temperature is TD2. So bypass factor formula is actual temperature drop divided by maximum temperature drop. Actual temperature drop will be TD2 minus ADP. Maximum temperature drop will be TD1 minus ADP. So calculate the bypass factor. Okay, please calculate the bypass factor. Okay, so I'll take the value. One value is there in the chat box, 0.17. So this is one of your answer. This is also an answer. And the last part here is refrigerating load on cooling coil. So fifth part. Refrigerating load on cooling coil. So let us denote it as QCC, cooling coil. Okay. So this will be like what? Mass flow rate into delta H. So in this delta H will be outdoor air enthalpy minus room enthalpy. So that much how energy we are removing from the room. So outdoor enthalpy H1 minus indoor enthalpy, that is H2. So H2 is the supply air enthalpy, supply air enthalpy, and H1 is what? Outdoor air enthalpy. Okay, so outdoor air, it passes on cooling coil removes its heat and it gives a supply air enthalpy. So that difference between enthalpy multiplied by the mass flow rate, so that will be the refrigerating load on cooling coil. One point should be noted here. In this case, first fresh air passes over cooling coil, only fresh air, right? After passing on cooling coil, then it mixes with return air. Okay, so only air which is coming in contact with cooling coil is nothing but fresh air in this case only. Okay, so there will be numericals where first there will be mixing and then there this mixed air will be passed on cooling coil, but in this case only fresh air is coming in contact with cooling coil. So here how to calculate the mass flow rate of fresh air. So see here, mass flow rate of fresh air, mass flow rate of fresh air. This you can calculate from the ventilation requirements as said in ASHRAE 62.1 standard, or you can directly calculate here. So fresh air will be equal to, so you have to consider total room heat load. Okay, room total heat divided by the difference between H4 minus H2. So H2 is again supply air enthalpy, H4 is the room enthalpy. Okay, So this is a room enthalpy. So in this case, it is assumed that all the load inside the room will be taken by the fresh load, because return air, that condition remains the same, but only the change in temperature is in the case of fresh air. So see here how to calculate this. We have calculated the room total load, that is RSH plus RLH, that is 52.02 plus 23.02. This divided by the difference in enthalpies. So H4 and H2, that we have to calculate. So let me see if we have calculated the H4. H4 we have calculated as a 61. Now H2, point H2, that enthalpy is remaining to be calculated. So quickly we'll calculate that enthalpy also. So how to calculate the H2 enthalpy? H2 is nothing but the supply air. Okay, so this is a point here. So here will be the so this way we calculate the enthalpy. We go up to the enthalpy scale. It will meet here. So as you can see, 50 is there, but little bit less than 50. So this is a 49. So this will be 49. Enthalpy at point 2 will be 49. So 61 minus 49. Calculate this. So this will be mass flow rate of fresh air. Okay, I have one answer, 6.25. I will take that, 6.25 kg per second. See, if you go in actual calculations, this mass flow rate of fresh air, that you have to calculate by the ASHRAE 62.41 standard. That is a minimum ventilation requirement for a occupied space. Okay, but for this example only, we have done this step. So in this case, I have assumed all the total heat in the room is taken by the fresh air, and the change in enthalpy will be room enthalpy minus supply air enthalpy. Okay, so 6.25 is the mass flow rate, and then we can calculate the cooling load on coil. So that will be mass flow rate into H1, that is the outdoor air enthalpy, minus H2, that is indoor air or the supply air enthalpy. So somewhere in the corner I will calculate this. So QCC will be equal to 6.25 into H1 we have calculated as a 85, and H2 we have calculated as a 49. So 85 minus 49. Calculate this, and this will be your answer in kilowatt. Okay, so can you calculate in tons of refrigeration? So Pradyumna has calculated in kilowatt, and let us wait for his answer, or others also please participate. To 25.12 kilowatt. Please convert this into tons of refrigeration divided by 3.5. So that will be in tons of refrigeration. $64.32. Okay, so this will be the total load acting on the cooling coil. Okay, so I think we have completed all the things they have asked. Refrigerating load we have calculated, bypass factor we have calculated, mass flow rate of fresh air we have calculated, then we have calculated condition of air entering hall, condition of air leaving the coil. Okay, so I'll repeat the example so that you will understand what is happening here. So in this case, as you can see, there is a schematic diagram. So we have a fresh air which first passes through cooling coil, then it mixes with the return air, and then it is passed to the hall. There is a supply air. So one by one, we have to find out its stages. So first is 1, that is given. 2, we have to find out. 3, we have to find out. Okay. So for that case, I have drawn a simple psychrometric diagram here. So this is way how the cooling is taking place. Okay. So see here. So first I have located this given point. This was given. Then 4 was also given. Then I have calculated the RSHF. How I have calculated the RSHF? I have calculated the total load in the room. Okay. So for that I have done some arrangement like this. I have looked at point A. Then I have calculated their enthalpies. Then I have calculated RSH. Then I have calculated RLH. From that I have calculated the RSHF factor. So this will be my point on that RSHF scale. I have joined a line with the alignment circle, which is given on the chart. So this will be my reference line. Okay, so this is for reference. Now parallel to this line, I have to draw a line through my point R. R means 0.4. So that point will be drawn here, though it is not looking parallel here, but it is parallel. 4 to 5 is my parallel line to room point. Now I'll get intersection point, that is point 2, that is nothing but our supply air condition. Okay, that is nothing but our air leaving the coil. Okay, so this is the air leaving the coil. Then this air leaving the coil gets mixed with the return air in the ratio of 2:3. Okay, so I have to divide this line, this 2 to 4 line, I have to divide into some ratio. So this part will be 60% and this part will be 40%. Okay, so I will get a 0.3. 0.3 is your supply air condition. So the supply air condition I have calculated from psychrometric chart as 24 degrees Celsius and 19.8 WBT. Okay, so this is the supply air condition. Then they have asked for refrigerating load. Refrigerating load can be calculated as a mass flow rate of fresh air into enthalpy difference. Why I have taken fresh air, not as a supply air? Because in this case, as you can see, the only air coming in contact with cooling coil is fresh air. Return air is not coming in contact with cooling coil. First, fresh air comes in contact with cooling coil, then it is mixed with the return air. Okay. So this is why we are considering only mass flow rate of fresh air. We calculate the mass flow rate of fresh air, and finally we have calculated the total load acting on the cooling coil. Okay. So this is very big example where they asked for 6 to 8 marks. And as you can see, if you know how to use the psychrometric chart, and if you can show these processes on the psychrometric chart, then it will be very easy for you. Okay. So don't worry, in next lecture, we'll take one more example. And in that example, I'll try to make it clear for you again. Okay. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. And considering your tomorrow's synopsis of project synopsis presentation. So like I said earlier, it's not a big deal. You discuss with your guide, like if you sit for only 2 to 3 hours, and there will be a format given to you by your guide. There will be your previous batch synopsis will be there. You follow that synopsis, you follow the format, and you write in your own language. Okay. So when you go by copying things, that time it's a take more time. ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही स्वतः करता त्यावेळेस उलट कमी वेळ लागतो. ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही ती कॉपी करायला जाता त्यावेळेस तुम्हाला माहित नसतं की तुम्ही काय करताय, राईट? सो देयर इज अ फिअर इनसाइड यू, आणि ही फिअर तुमच्या इंटरव्ह्यूज मध्ये किंवा तुमच्या प्रेझेंटेशन मध्ये समोरच्याला आपोआप दिसून जाते. ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही स्वतः केलेलं असतं, प्रेझेंटेशन तयार केलं असतं, स्वतः रिपोर्ट तयार केला असतो, त्यावेळेस तुमच्याकडे एक प्रकारचा कॉन्फिडन्स असतो, कारण ते तुम्ही केलेलं असतं. तर ते हेच तुम्ही जर कॉपी करत गेला आणि दुसऱ्याच्या लँग्वेज मध्ये लिहायला गेला तर ते कॉन्फिडन्स तुमच्या चेहऱ्यावर तेवढा दिसत नाही. सो डिस्कस विथ युअर गाईड अँड राईट डाऊन इन युअर ओन लँग्वेज रिपोर्ट. आणि रिपोर्ट झाल्यानंतर पीपीटी करणं फार सोपं असतं. रिपोर्ट मधलेच पॉईंट त्यात टाकायचे असतात. पीपीटी मध्ये मोठमोठे पॅराग्राफ टाकू नका, सिम्पल 1-1 सेंटेन्सेस टाका, चांगले चांगले डायग्राम टाका, आणि लास्टला रेफरन्सेस द्या. म्हणजे असं व्हायला नको की हे तुम्ही करताय, म्हणजे मला असं म्हणायचं की कुठं तर तुम्ही रेफरन्स द्या चांगले चांगले पेपरचा. त्याचा रेफरन्स देऊन तुम्ही म्हणा की आम्ही असंच वाचले पेपर, त्या पेपर मधून आम्हाला अशी आयडिया मिळाली आणि त्या आयडिया मधून आम्ही थोडं थोडं असं काम केलं. ठीक आहे. So all the best for your tomorrow's presentation. So quickly I will take the attendance.